Now, before we begin, I want to say a super huge thank you to Anna, Christine, Ashley, and Shane, who all joined my Patreon this week. Thank you guys so much. Oh my goodness, I'm so grateful to have you guys part of my community, and it's just such an honor to have people who want to support me. So thank you. You guys are making my dreams a reality, and I'm like so close to my patron goal. It's so crazy. I'm like, oh my goodness. So thank you guys who have supported me throughout the years, the last 2 years, I should say, and I'm always so grateful for you guys, so thank you. Now, you guys know how much I love going back and reviewing basic concepts because I always find something new and different that I can add into my practice, and today is absolutely no different. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about intention setting. Now, intention setting is basically Witchcraft 101 stuff, definitely. It is a foundation or a cornerstone of a lot of people's magical practices, and it can be as simple as weaving energy into a spell, writing runes onto a candle or into a working, or doing what we're going to be doing today and writing an intentional phrase and doing a blessing. So for today's spell or working, whatever you want to call it, all you're going to need is a candle. I'm using a white candle. You can use whatever color you would like. Bonus points if it matches up with kind of the vibe of your intention. So if you're doing, for example, a protective intention, you'll probably want to use a black candle, or if you're doing a healing intention, maybe consider blue. Now, white is kind of one of those colors that encompasses all intentions and energies, so that's why I chose to use it for today. You will also need a pen and a piece of paper. A slip of paper is perfectly fine. If you wanted to write this down in your book of shadows or on a bigger piece of paper, feel free. I just have a slip of paper. It's a little bit easier for me. Now, in the past few weeks, I know we've been doing a lot of discussion about hearth magic, and I've just been kind of in and out. I've been a little bit distant, but in October, I promise that is all going to change. In fact, I am so excited about October, I am talking about it early. And the reason that we're talking about intention setting today is because at the end of October is the 8th holiday on the Wheel of the Year. It is Samhain. It's either the 8th or the 1st, I guess. And the reason that we're talking about intention setting today is because Samhain is coming up, and Samhain is actually one of my favorite holidays on the Wheel of the Year. Technically, I think they all are at this point, but Samhain has a soft spot in my spooky little heart. So, one of the major facets of this holiday of Samhain, which we will totally talk about later in October, don't worry, I'm going to do a bunch of videos about it. It's going to be really fun. I'm super stoked. But one of the things that some witches like to do is set intentions for the magical year ahead on Samhain. So not necessarily like 2023, but perhaps the next year in their practice. So now I know that might seem a little bit counterintuitive to some people, like starting the new year in October, like what are you talking about? And again, we will discuss that a little bit further, but because Samhain is such a sacred night to some witches, especially maybe witches who haven't quite dedicated themselves yet, or people who are just interested in getting started. Samhain is often a night that witches see as significant, and sometimes witches start their journeys on Samhain. So I wanted to make sure that I talked about intention setting due to the fact that witches do set intentions for the magical year ahead, like I said, or even the whole year ahead, depending on if you use that calendar to kind of govern your life. I personally don't when it comes to my personal development goals, but when it comes to my magical goals, I do tend to follow like the Wheel of the Year, with Samhain being the witch's new year. So today I invite you to light a candle with me and set an intention. Now, this can be for the month ahead, or if you would like to rewatch this video on Samhain, the 31st of October, of course, for all of my spooky friends. I'm so excited. Halloween this year / Samhain is going to be so fun. So if you would like to, you can rewatch it on Samhain and set your intention for the magical year ahead if you so choose. Again, not required, just an option. And if you choose to join me again on Samhain, hi, how are you? Now, I hope that our flames can burn together and you can come to a place of peace and calm and focus. Maybe taking a few deep breaths and letting us turn our attention to our paper and our pen. Now, when we form an intention, we want to keep it pretty concise and clear, right? Without being too vague. So for example, if my intention is to draw enough prosperity into my life to buy a new set of witchcraft books, I want to be sure that I'm clear with the amount of money that I need and then the date that I need it by, right? So otherwise, if I just write money for witchcraft books on my piece of paper. I might turn around and find a penny on the street, and that's technically, money for witchcraft books. It's a cent, but, it's still money. Or, alternatively, I might find that this intention manifests, like, really far in the future, like 6 months from now, and you're like, great, like, I already saved up the money that I needed, now I have this, like, I mean, you can always use more witchcraft books, am I right? But I hope you guys understand what I mean. So instead of making things too vague or perhaps super overly complicated, like you're trying to avoid too many loopholes, let's take some time to sit together and ponder our intention. Feel free to pause the video now if you need some extra time, but just consider the things that you are trying to work towards and what magically can aid you in achieving those goals. Remember to try to set a clear and concise intention that details the parameters that need to be established. And though you can write an intention any way you wish, you may find it's helpful to start with the phrase, "Tonight I intend to attract energies that will help me with blank." This phrasing sort of helps me to remember to do the mundane action on top of the magical work. So that's why I choose to use it, but you do not have to phrase it like that if that doesn't work out for you. All right, so let me talk you through an example, which is the intention that I wrote for this evening. So my intention is, tonight I intend to attract energies to help me stay focused as I work on my daily hour of power throughout the month of October. So this seems really wordy, I know, and I actually do recommend maybe shortening it a little bit. But I am going to be dedicating myself to, once again, dedicating an hour of my day to my practice. I did it last month and I had a lot of success in the beginning, and then just like a bunch of stuff happened all at once and I kind of fell off. But in the podcast episode that should be coming out Friday and will be here on this channel, be sure to check it out if you guys are curious about what I'm reading right now. But my coven sisters and I have been reading the book Keeping Her Keys by Cindy Brannon, and she recommends doing this thing called the Hour of Power, which we talk about a little bit. And on the episode, I was kind of like, oh my gosh, that seems overwhelming, but Hecate has been like really pushing me to go all in with this book, with this framework, I should say. So stay tuned for that on Friday. I'm not going to give too much away because I could probably talk about it. Well, we did talk about it for like an hour, so. But hopefully this gives you a good idea of what my intentions kind of look like. Again, I'm a really long-winded person. If you've seen any of my videos, you'll know that I'm pretty long-winded. So of course my intentions are too. I just feel like it's who I am. All right, enough of my blabbing. Now here is the magical part, right? Which is I invite you to hold your intention up and just give it one last good read. And just really focus on that energy. And then I want you guys to actually close your eyes with me. I want you to picture this intention or this goal as though you have already completed it. I invite you to feel the energy of the planet course up through your feet, through your body, to your fingertips, enveloping this piece of paper in beautiful light. Feel the words on that page come alive and your magic, your energy, being put out into the universe as things are set into motion. Envision the work you are going to do to aid in this intention, magical or mundane. Know that you can do anything you set your mind to, and the power behind this intention truly comes from within, which is keeping your eyes closed once more. I invite you to picture your intention and inhale in deeply, filling your core and harnessing the energy of this intention therein. Then release, slowly exhaling that energy over the paper and sending your intention out into the universe. Witches, I thank you for joining me in that exercise. I invite you to carry this piece of paper with you, maybe putting it in your wallet, in a bag, or perhaps pasting it in a notebook you use a lot, your planner maybe, or putting it somewhere that you're going to see it. I actually would recommend putting it in a vision board or incorporating it somehow. But whatever you feel called to do, I'm sure it's going to be super great. So I hope this was helpful to you guys. Maybe a new technique for setting intention, or perhaps a review of an old technique. I'm not really sure. And I hope it was helpful. Wherever you are joining me today, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow.